Okay, got a quick review to go over before we take our 3-1 to 3-2 quiz. It says name the intersection of plane NUT. NUT would be the plane at the back. And then plane OPT. It's on the side. So where do they meet? Line OT. Yep, it's an entire line. So there's some old stuff on here. That is kind of an old concept. However, we still have to go with it. We still have to know it. Name all the segments parallel to NU. That would be a newer concept. Anything that's going in the same direction as NU. So I'm going to just make NU dark right now. Actually, I'm going to erase that other stuff just so I can show you from each question what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's your NU. Anything going in the same direction would be like OT. And those are segments. Then there's segment PS and MR. So those would be all of them. Now, I may only ask you for one. Now I need to name all segments that intersect NU. Intersection means where do they meet NU? So that'd be NO, UT. What else connects to that segment? MN and UR, okay? Or NR, NM and UR. I don't care how you name it, as long as the letters have an N or a U in it. Now, I would agree that you could make more of them, but we're only talking about the ones that are in the picture. So you could literally go from N to P, couldn't you? Across the top, if that was a solid box. But that, I'm not asking you to name every single possibility, just the ones that are in the picture. All right, so now it says name segments that are skew to NU. Now, skew, you got to know what that means. It's very different. Parallel means they don't intersect, but they're in the same plane. So notice every time you found a parallel segment, it was in the same plane as the segment it was parallel to. So MU and MR, these were in the same plane. This was in the same plane as OT. But now we need segments that are skew, which don't touch that segment, would never run into it if they got extended, and are not in the same plane. Skew segments are not in the same plane. So tell me something that's not in the same plane that wouldn't run into NU. Cadence? MP, sure. PS, no, we cannot do PS. Why? Someone want to explain why we cannot use PS? PS is parallel to NU. He's not here again. Okay, so it would be parallel to NU, so you can't use that one. You could use RS, ST. There's more. PO. Any of those are skew. Now, do you see how I can't connect any other ones except, what about this one? MS would be another. Okay, you didn't have to list them all. It said 2, but you got the idea why those are all skew, I hope. Name a plane parallel to MUN. Plane MUN. All right, so let me erase this so you can see where I'm headed. Okay, MUN is the side over here. What's parallel to that plane would be, yeah, OPT, or yeah, let's not name it that. SPO, whatever. But you have to write the word plane when you name a plane, please. And that needs to be capitals. Any three letters on the plane. And I know you guys like to spell words, so you could have done top. How about that? All right, name a transversal. I know I went over this one yesterday, but I'd like to tackle it again. It says name the transversal. Okay, a transversal is a line cutting through two other lines. So we want to name the transversal that forms angles 9 and 13. So I'm going to go over there and find them. 9 and 13. And I'm not talking about them being congruent necessarily. I'm talking about what makes them. Well, to make those angles, you need this line, right? It cuts through line N and T. So that's line Q. And those angles are called what kind? If they're in the same spot along corresponding. So those are just called corresponding angles. So it says angles called, you're going to say corresponding angles or whatever other type. 8 and 14, I'm going to highlight. There's angle 8, there's angle 14. Now we're looking at transversal L. Line L is the transversal, because line L is the one cutting through the other two lines to make the angles. 8 is on the outside, 14 is on the outside. So these are called alternate. They're jumping over the line too. So alternate on the exterior. Alternate exterior angles. 4 and 6, bing, bing. Okay, the transversal is line P. That's because these angles are formed by line N and L getting cut by line P. They are alternate on the between the lines N and L, so those are called alternate interior angles. And then finally, 12 and 13, find angle 12 and 13. They are on the same side of line Q. So they're consecutive between the lines, consecutive interior angles. Now, if lines N and L are parallel, those ought to be supplementary, not congruent. They're consecutive, they're on the same side. Because they're between these lines. Okay? I was asked a question, so I was trying to answer. All right. Given that B and H are parallel and P and Q are parallel, state the postulate that justifies the conclusion. I'm not even going to highlight anything yet. I'm just going to go find angles 5 and 7, and then I'm going to highlight because I'm going to say, well, I can tell 5 and 7 have to do with lines G and H being parallel. The transversal that cuts them is line Q. Okay, and so I'm going to name 5 and 7 are alternate on the interior of lines G and H. So we're going to say that if they're parallel lines, then alternate interior angles are congruent. Now that's the alternate interior angles theorem. That's what it says. That's what you're supposed to write. Now, that's not going to be enough for this one. So if you just write alternate interior angles, I'm going to have to do something. It's because the lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. You can have alternate interior angles that aren't congruent, okay, because the lines aren't parallel. That does make a difference. All right, why is measure of angle 5 and 8? Oh, wait, 5 and 8 are consecutive interior to the lines G and H. So that's because parallel implies consecutive interior, and I could write the whole word out. Yeah, yep. So consecutive interior angles supplementary, SUPP. This is what I want you writing. You have this in your ISN and you get to use it. Get used to writing it out this way. I'll take abbreviation on the word consecutive though. All right, next I'm hitting on 6 and 8. Now, those guys are guys, careful. They're jumping, no, they're not alternating, guys. They're not jumping over the transversal. 6 and 8 are in the same position. Okay, they're congruent because parallel lines implies corresponding angles congruent. I was hearing some incorrect answers, so I want to clarify for you. Not yelling at you, I just want to clarify. Now, let me explain too that that was between these parallel lines right here, P and Q, those two. Here, now, 4 and 9, look where they are. Here's 4 out here, 9's out here. So they're on the outside of the pink lines. Parallel implies alternate exterior angles congruent. And last, angles 5 and 3. Where's 5? Here? Oh, they're just across from each other. So they are vertical. So they're congruent because vertical angles are congruent. Okay? Good enough. Vertical angles theorem would be fine too. All right, I need to flip. This is state whether the postular theorem you used, measure of angle 12. Now, what I got to do is first say I've got angle 9 is 80. So I'm going to put that here. And then I'm going to say, well, angle 12 then is 100 because it's forming a linear pair with 9. So a linear pair implies supplementary. I would just write supplement theorem because it's faster. But if you decide to write linear pair implies supplementary, I'd take that. It's the supplement theorem. That's what it is. Linear pair implying the supplement theorem. Measure of angle 1 is 80 because angle 9 and angle 1 are corresponding. So that would be by parallel implies corresponding angles congruent. Okay, so get used to this, writing it this way. That's why I made you do that big packet. Angle 4, keep on knowing it, 4 and 2. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't say. How big is angle 4? Well, we know it's going to be 100 because it's right next to that. Oh, and I forgot to put my answer in here. Last one, that's right. Because angle 12, what are 4 and 12? Corresponding. Okay, parallel implies corresponding angles congruent. We're going with what we're being led here to say. So there's not the only reason. It's just because I'm telling you what angle to compare it with. Okay, that's what this is about. I'm trying to tell you what angle to use to decide how to name it. All right, 3 and 9. So I go to 3 and I see 3 would be 80 because 3 and 9 are alternate exterior, interior, guys. Okay, are they between parallel lines or are they outside? Guys, these are in between. They're alternate on the interior. Exterior would be like 10 and 4. Okay, there's your theorem. Okay, so then next we go measure of angle 7. Well, that's not to do with these angles up here at all. So I go back over here and I see that they told me angle 5 is 68. So I'll put that on my picture. Angle 7 then would be 68 because angle 5 and 7 are vertical. And that's just the vertical angles theorem, or vertical angles, which says vertical angles are congruent. Finally, 16 is going to be 112. Where did I get that from? 7 and 16 are consecutive interior. Parallel implies consecutive interior supplementary. Ooh, I'm in trouble writing. Okay, good. Need to wait. You were supposed to have already done this and be checking it, but if you have to fix something, I understand, or you're trying to think it out. All right, so we are checking. That's why I'm going so fast. Number 1 on the back, these are consecutive supplementary. You should have done 46x minus 4 equals 180. You should have solved it and gotten, I don't remember, 4. This one, I got to give the postulate. This would be parallel implies consecutive interior supplementary. This one, these are parallel implies alternate exterior angles congruent. So now we're going to set 22x minus 2 equal to 20x plus 10. I am going to quickly solve these, guys. So I'm subtracting 20x, and then I'm adding 2. Should have, that's a 10. and then divide by 2 and get 6. Okay, did anybody have problems with that? Okay, this isn't the time for you to all be doing all this writing down. You were supposed to do these for homework. Yes, ma'am. I put together the x terms. I did 34x plus 12x to get 46x, and I did minus 1 minus 4. That's fine for me. I mean, I think that's faster for you if you went ahead, instead of writing out the big long thing. You see that? So that's, and then here we had to set them equal, so I couldn't take a shortcut. But if you want to, if you know they're adding up to 180, you could just do it right then. Okay? Do you understand why they add to 180? Great. Thank you for asking. And these are vertical. So because of the vertical angles theorem, you can write vertical angles theorem, or vertical angles are congruent. You would set these equal. And if you solve this correctly, you should have had 7. These would be parallel implies alternate interior angles congruent. So you'd set these equal. 14x minus 3 equals 95. You would have added 3 and divided by 4, and I believe that's 7, right? Yeah. Again, I wouldn't go this fast if I was totally teaching it, but I'm not. It's a review. These are corresponding angles. So if the lines are parallel, that implies that the corresponding angles will be congruent. So by the corresponding angles theorem, 18x minus, that's plus 9 is equal to 99. You could subtract 9 from both sides and divide by 18. You should have gotten 5. I'm not writing as many little steps in my algebra anymore. Unless you need me to, I probably won't do it a whole lot anymore because we've done it so much. All right, let's identify the transversal. Now the question is simply, what line is the transversal? So if you're looking at 9 and 13, what's the transversal line? It's the one that cuts through the other two, line Q. Okay, for 15 and 14, 5 and 14, it's line L. And they're not congruent because those lines aren't parallel. P and Q aren't parallel. And 4 and 6, it's going to be line P. Okay. Okay, I'll just talk about this. I'm not writing it out because this is on the quiz. Explain the difference between parallel and skew. Look it up in your ISN if you need to. Write me out in words something about why they're not the same. And both of them don't intersect. That won't cut it. Parallel lines intersect, do not intersect, but they are in the same plane. While skew lines don't intersect and cannot be coplanar. They are not in the same plane. Okay, you're going to have to say something worded well using proper terminology to get full credit. And then the next one, interior and exterior, will not be sufficient to say interior angles are the angles in interior of the lines. That's not enough. You're going to have to say something about parallel lines are cut by a transversal. Angles between the lines are interior angles. Angles outside of those lines are cut by the transversal are exterior angles. Okay, you can use a picture to illustrate as well, but a picture will not be enough. It will have to be, I think you should have a picture and a explanation in words would be great. That'd be the best way to show someone, just like I show you in your notes. Well, let's do it. It's quiz time.